an inverse if we get it. Yeah, pretty early today. Sound is low note, probably. I'm not really in front of my mic right now, so. Wait, is PM free on Monday? No. PM is just free today because I'm going live 30 minutes before stream right now to try and catch some of these moves. We had a pretty nice long setup for him after sweeping the low here. This would be A plus all day, every day. Complete the market maker model. We anticipate some retrace here to fill in the inefficiency. So when we create this 15-minute gap there, that's that idea. And then this short here was fantastic. This is what I just tried taking, and I got stop break even on it, but I was able to catch some of it. Was able to scale there. So this was really good if you took this. But yeah, both of those setups, either the one from the low or this, were good. As far as any shorts from up here, there probably wasn't anything like amazing. Yeah, this 3-minute went invalid. Maybe. Yeah, no, that would have failed. So, yeah, not really any good shorts there, but the long here, the short here, that the indicator caught both. Those are both really good. What's the equal high indicator called? It's called equal highs and lows by out of options. I can just throw the link to that in here. Why are we starting early? Because price action is really good right now. So I actually think we can catch a play here maybe during the macro, or maybe, you know, as we come into PM. I don't want to miss this 5-minute short. I'll take this if we get it. This seems pretty good. I know it's shorting after sell side, but we still have sell side below here. And I know that technically, as long as we're respecting this 15-minute order flow, is considered bullish. But now I feel like we have the momentum to kind of break this. So I'm guessing on another stab down here, we'll be able to take it out. We just kind of need like a good death candle through this 5-minute BPR. 5-minute long, it's good, right? But I'm never going to take a long with this size of a stop loss. 100 points. So if you wanted to like take the long there as a 1-to-1 play to target the high, go for it. But I mean, 100-point stop isn't for me. 1 hour inverse will lose soon as well. Yeah, it would just, you know, become invalidated. But this is the gap that's telling us order flow on the hourly. So just because this gap here gets inverse doesn't really mean a whole lot. Same with the IFEG. Obviously, we took that IFEG to the high. So while we're between that 1 hour gap below that BISI and the SIBI here, you know, order flow is pretty uncertain. And I think what will decide lower time frame order flow are these 5-minute gaps and this 5-minute BPR here. I'm shorting to a protected low. Not yet. Not on the 15-minute. I guess in about 30 seconds it will be a protected low, but that's a good point. That's a good point about the protected low here. I don't really know. I mean, if we get a death candle through this, like, we're basically just taking a momentum play. The protected low doesn't really matter here. And I'm guessing we'll be able to get break even before the low anyway there, so it shouldn't really matter too much. But yeah, I wanted to obviously make up some lost time. That's why I started early. So, you know, since I wasn't on last Friday, you guys will still have that Friday stream this Friday when we're supposed to be off. But, you know, just wanted to make up for any other missing time. Also, you know, PA seems pretty good right now. You guys remember when I, you know, told you guys about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, that this week was going to be the week where we started to get good price action? Obviously, the war helps, you know, introduce some volatility, but, you know, we've gotten through contract rollover. We got through the holiday. We got through the quad witching. So should be in the clear, right? That first 1 minute wasn't good. Oh no, that was great. I really liked that. I actually took that short, Jess. I liked it because we came up, tapped into that last gap in the leg, and rejected it, and we got that, you know, 3-candle V shape. So this is A plus every time. Liquidity sweep inside the macro. Good signature and price. Inefficiencies below. Probably would have been a scale plus break even. Why am I bearish? Okay, so basically, I'm not really bearish. I'm mostly neutral. I want to be bearish, and the reason why is because we have this sell side down here that we've left, um, you know, and that needs to be addressed from overnight. And we've taken out essentially all the buy side that is relevant today, and we rejected pretty hard on the hourly time frame here from this hourly BPR. And so what this is kind of telling me is, yes, we're respecting this hourly BISI here, and we're disrespecting the hourly BPR here. But I think if we start to get bearish order flow here on the lower time frame in the form of inversing this 5-minute, that will create a domino effect on the higher time frame where we run to this low, inverse the 1 hour / 15-minute, and then we'll be able to target sell side down here. So that's kind of my idea. It doesn't really make sense to look for longs here because the draw on liquidity isn't as strong here. And then to sell side, there actually is a decent draw. How was the 5-minute short as an entry? I think it's good. I think this 1 minute is the best entry, obviously, but it would have been a break even. So this is kind of like just trying to jump back in. Obviously, if we get like a decent, confirmation setup after the 5-minute inverse, that would be ideal because that decreases our risk. But like if I were to take a short here, like I wouldn't take this 1 minute because for one, it doesn't have significance yet, and for two, we have equal highs above and order flow isn't confirmed. So the low we're going for is high resistant. Yeah, it is. So the idea here would be for a scalp on the 5-minute where we like target this 1 minute ITL here, and we hope that price breaks this low. Do I think that if we stall after taking this low, we'll go for the external low? Probably not. But I think that by taking this 5-minute inverse here, we'll be able to capture at least some move, and hope that this ends up breaking. If we don't get it and we start to put in a 5-minute order block here, then obviously I'm wrong about wanting that idea. But you can't really be wrong if you don't really have a set plan. Like right now, I don't really have a plan. I'm just kind of adapting to the market conditions. And so like right now, I'd say it's very neutral. But I think at any given moment here, we could see price, pick a direction, and then that's going to give us the opportunity to take a move. However, we did just complete the market maker model from this morning technically. So maybe we consolidate here for a bit and we get a manipulation leg, and then that manipulation leg gives us, more distribution, right? Either to the downside or to the upside here. But yeah, the main reason why I hopped on early was just because, we had really good price action, so I don't want to miss out on anything. We have this 1 minute long here. I think this will work to the high based on the momentum. So if you're bullish bias here, you could try this, but just know that there is an inception gap here, I think. Oh, maybe not. Actually, yeah. So you technically will include this in your stop loss when taking this play. So you probably can't scale until like this high here. Okay, well that's pretty bad. It would need to inverse this candle. If we don't inverse, then 7 seconds. Dream scenario, we soup this high. I don't know. I don't really have a dream scenario right now. Inception gap is the gap created on the swing that inverses the fair value gap. So here's the swing that inverses the fair value gap. There's the inverse. There's the high, and then this is where you'd scale first. So I just got break even there. So good break even play, I think. But yeah, I'm guessing we're gonna see a lot of this right now. We're just trying to figure out what we're doing. But yeah, this is a good break even here. Main reason why is because we didn't break the high on ES, so this kind of makes this an SMT. And this is a pretty bearish reaction to seeing that high get hit. So you don't really want to be in this trade after that happens anyway. No, I took that on eval because it kind of goes against what I want jiu-jitsu, but I think it was a good trade to take unfunded if you wanted to, right? PM free today just until 1:30. I'm just hanging out with whoever wants to join up from premium. And do I care about the news from Iran? Yeah, of course. I'm keeping an eye on it. It's actually just crazy that we live in this day and age where we can get literally live updates of the war. I mean, I saw explosions heard above Qatar's capital. Like, that's crazy. Um, well, I think it's official, guys. I think we are at war. I'm guessing Congress will give the notice at some point later today. So that's great. Where do I get war news from? Financial Juice. Bro, didn't they attack U.S. bases in Qatar? They attacked U.S. bases in Qatar, Iraq. Um, I don't know what else. Actually, I don't know if they attacked Iraq, but I know that. Um, oh, great, Qatar's in the mix now. So Qatar just said we deserve the right to respond to this blatant attack. So yeah, I mean, great, 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 great. That's so bad. Oh wow. Okay, so we have a 30-second inverse to the upside here. Um, no liquidity sweep. The order flow I'd say is bullish on the lower time frame right now. It's fine. What is this? 15-point stop. I don't really love this trade because the break even point is really far, and we're kind of in this neutral zone where like we've taken out this high, created a protected high now. I guess it's not protected on the 5 minute yet, so theoretically, if we came back up here, we could see a higher high get put in, which would make this high no longer protected. So it's not confirmed yet, but it kind of looks like it wants to be. But I really like this V-shaped signature and price. So this is kind of just like an eval slash momentum play. Um, if you got in this 30-second, but it's not really the model because we don't get a liquidity sweep there. It's kind of like a confirmation setup. I just I think it's a weird spot to be in if you're a U.S. soldier because you're going into this war to fight Iran and you're fighting alongside Israel, but Israel is basically like a genocidal country. So I don't know if I, as an American, would want to fight alongside a country that's committing a genocide. Am I neutral on order flow? Yeah, right now for the most part. However, I don't necessarily side with Iran in this conflict either. Um, I think Iran is a really terrible country and they commit a lot of atrocities against humanity. I think the way that they treat minorities and women is pretty horrible. Um, so, I mean, I I would. It makes sense to go to war against Iran. I just don't. I wouldn't want to fight alongside Israel. The reason why it kind of makes sense to go to war against Iran is because of what happened in 2018. I mean, that's when the building blocks were set. Was when we put those sanctions back on Iran and they restarted their nuclear program. Them doing that was kind of an act of war, especially when they say things like "death to Americans" and that kind of thing. So I don't know, man. If we would have just kept the original nuclear deal in place, none of this probably would have happened. But you never know. I mean, it's a pretty crazy regime. So it is what it is. Also, I'm just a 23-year-old. What do I know about geopolitics? There's probably a whole iceberg of stuff that I don't know. So there's the high there. I would scale if you took that 30-second. Like, yes, it kind of seems like Iraq 2.0, but at the same time, the threat of weapons of mass destruction I actually do feel is real. I mean, the fact that they are enriching in uranium past what is needed for nuclear energy is kind of crazy because that only means that you want to create an atomic bomb, and we know that they have, um, you know, the supplies to create an atomic bomb. So it's kind of like if I don't know, somebody was like, hey, yeah, I mean, there's no synonym needed. I mean, it's clear. But yeah, this 30-second printed, 5 minute inverse, obviously. So no protected high there. And yeah, we're just gonna head back up, I guess. Oh, I guess the 15-second was a lot more clear here, huh? Well, that's okay. So yeah, if you took the 15-second there, we have that liquidity sweep, which makes this play a little better. It's just a little bit weird how everything delivered there, but what a shame. We get break even there on the 1 minute long, and then it ends up hitting final TP. So, oh well. So price, did we do anything here? I guess not. This 15-minute this 15-minute setup here will confirm. Most likely price coming back to this highs, so I don't think it's a horrible idea if in 2.5 minutes you wanted to like take options long to target high of day here. I think that'll only happen if we inverse the 15. Right, because this is a 15-minute inverse with an order block coming off of sweep of low of day where we're still respecting bullish order flow. Okay, wow. That's pretty crazy. Is there even like a setup for us here? Like, what's the best gap? 1 minute? Let's just do the 1 minute in series, I guess. Yeah, 1 minute in series is the best gap here. Check 5 minute. You think we see that 5 minute bearish gap? I don't think so. Because if we get up to that 5 minute gap, we'll probably just see the 15-minute get inversed, and we're respecting higher time frame order flow. If we're gonna reject and get bearish here, Vert, I think we need to see it happen like right now, because then that confirms that we didn't inverse the 15 here. And this 15 has a little bit of significance. We've created some history with it with this candle here, and so if we inverse the 15, we'll be getting an order block. But like what I think could happen here is just like another FU long. Like this 30-second long I bet works. And you can target that high inside the 5 minute. Yeah, wow, okay, so there's the 30-second. Guess I'll try this on an eval. No liquidity sweep, so like probably a B setup. Not very good, but I'm basically playing off the idea of the 15-minute inverse here. So hopefully we get that. If we don't get that, I'll just, take the L. It's fine. It's just an eval. But it's good at risk to reward. It's definitely more of a risk to reward play. Let's see. We got 9 seconds here. Alright, so there it is. So we get the 15-minute inverse. Hopefully momentum just pumps us to the high here. We get an easy break even. Wouldn't you want to inverse hourly first? No, because we swept the low. So I don't really have to wait for the hourly here. That's also probably going to take way too long to happen. All right, reports a U.S. aircraft takes off from Saudi Arabia airbase. Okay. Has Congress said anything? Another reason why I'm taking this trade on an eval, guys, is because obviously, we're literally in the middle of a battle right now. Like, anything can happen. So expect make sure you have hard stop set, maybe, size down. Take a look at the 10-minute. I don't use it often. Sometimes it prints. Yeah, so 10-minute inverse here, 15-minute, all the same idea. This 30-second eval play I'm in is basically just off the higher time frame inverses, this idea. It looks pretty, convincing. What am I looking for now? Well, I'm in a long, so I'm hoping we just go up here and we hit the 5-minute high that you pointed out. So we should hit this high now, so I'm going to go break even there. And then I'll scale 1 there because that's 1 to 1. So I'm out half of there. And then we'll just see. So, all right. Free stream, free premium member stream. Little call out there. No, it was just an eval play, but at least it's something. What do you think about the 5-minute long? You should already be in longs, to be honest. So I wouldn't long this high up in premium. That 30-second inverse from the low, how much RR is it up right now? This is pretty crazy. I know Johnny took this. Damn, 5R already. Final target will be 8R. Dude, I love it when the markets get volatile. They offer such good trade opportunities. Make free for the day? Nah, we'll wrap up here at 1:30 for those of you that are in here for free. Jess, send me a pic of your driver's license, and if it is actually your birthday, I'll let you in here for free for the day. How much are my PM streams? They are $50 a month, or $2.50 a day. Why did I start so early today? Well, we were getting pretty good price action, so I figured why not. And then the reason why I didn't take this setup down here, but I took this one up here, is because... Why do you guys think I took this setup up here? Okay, higher time frame, 15-minute IVG, sure. That's one reason. What's the other reason? Confirmation order flow. Good job. Good job, Samuk. Yeah, so order flow was confirmed after price came up and hit this high again. I wasn't too sure what this reaction was going to be, and when I see a bearish reaction like that, after taking out a high, I don't really want to take the long that retargets that buy side, right? But since we came up here and, made an inverse above the high, I think that, this is a pretty good play. Did I already take a trade? Yeah, Twisted. We're in a long right now, so this is the long we're in. Yeah, Apoff. I started it early today. We're going to kick out all the free people out at 1:30. And start like the official stream, but I thought I would start a little bit early today since Friday I wasn't on, and I wanted to try and at least give something back to you guys. But yeah, reason why this is our target right now is this is a high inside of a gap. There's a lot of stacked liquidity up here, so it makes sense to see price hit that. Another break even. Well, I hope not. I feel like you should still be in. Didn't quite come back to the entry. Yeah, Tambi. I don't necessarily know if I fully agree with that, but I today definitely. Do I ever use footprints? No, I don't. I don't. I'm more on the side of, don't fix it if it ain't broken. Iran coordinated the attack on the U.S. airbase in Qatar with Qatari officials and gave advance notice that attacks were coming to minimize casualties. Wait, what? So Qatar was in bed with Iran? Oh, hell nah. You take a short after we tap this 5-minute. If order flow becomes bearish, so like if we were to inverse this 30-second to the downside after hitting the high, maybe. But I mean, order flow here is pretty bullish. I'm 23, Lufer. Nah, that text got to be wrong. It says Iran coordinated the attacks on the U.S. airbase in Qatar with Qatari officials and gave advance notice that attacks were coming to minimize casualties. From the New York Times. Yeah, Fahrenheit, probably. Still, though, I mean, depending on the timeline, Qatar could have probably warned people, like warned U.S. officials. I don't know how they warned their people without warning the U.S. at the same time. That kind of feels stupid. I'm going to be honest. If I'm Iran, I'm not warning Qatar, right? Like you're telling me the U.S. doesn't have every single cell phone hacked out in the Middle East, like they, as if they're not going to see. Like I don't know. All right, well there's TP. You can be all out there, or based on this momentum up, I'd probably hold a runner. Um, if we see continuous candle closes past this, we're going to see this 5-minute get violated. The idea behind this long goes back to the higher time frame too. So if we want to have higher time frame in line here, it makes sense to go to high of day. But yeah, we'll just have to gauge this reaction of the high inside the gap. I think as we continue to put in bullish PD arrays, all it's going to come down to here is the reaction of this high here. So if we displace above it and create more FVGs and order blocks over this high, I'll anticipate high of day. If we start to stall here, then I will probably wait to determine order flow again, because technically right now order flow has become neutral. And so like what I would do probably is I would have my stop trail probably below this gap, because if price is really bullish here, we shouldn't violate that unless we're going to retrace to tap into some inefficiency, which we shouldn't create another 15-minute inefficiency here until 1:30, and so there's no real reason for us to come back quite yet. Until maybe after that inefficiency gets created. So what we can do is we can take the next 6 minutes to kind of gauge the reaction to this high, and then if we don't have a bullish reaction past this high, maybe we take full profit. What would tell us that order flow has changed to bearish? I believe this 30-second, like this obvious gap here, right? That sent price to a higher high. I think if we inverse this, that would tell us lower time frame order flow has switched to bearish. And if we were to inverse, I think, I don't know, maybe this 15-minute here to the downside, or there's like a 10-minute gap, I think. Yeah, if we were to inverse like the 10-minute inverse to the downside here, create a breaker, that would probably tell me we're bearish on the higher time frame. But yeah, so this is exactly what we're looking for, right? Is just good expansion candles past previous highs here. And so this is why I'd say, hold a runner, because based on how, much price is displacing right now, it makes sense to see high of day get hit. So obviously, at this point, you're probably up in the position if you took this with like, I don't know, 8 contracts, because that's what risk allowed. Maybe you sized down and you took it with only 5. You're up at least like 2.5 R. And if you hold to the full TP, you'll probably be up like 5 R, something like that. Tommy, yeah, I took it. I took it on eval, though. I didn't take it on funded. I said I was taking it on eval. I rated it like a B setup. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Brandon, I'm still in this. Oh, okay. When you get a bad fill, you leave your stop loss for breaking in at the original entry for the trade or at the entry of where you got filled. I think that's kind of up to you. I usually just leave it at the place where I got filled, but why is it B? So we don't have a liquidity sweep. We're outside the macro. And yeah, that's about it. It's just a bias and like A setup play, but it's not like A plus mechanically or anything like that, because you're longing kind of high in premium and there's no liquidity sweep. Why not take the 15-minute unfunded? Why? Because I don't take 15-minute setups unfunded. The highest time frame I'll go is 5. Yeah, 15 minutes are fine. That's what I was saying. Like this 30-second setup was based off that. But then again, do you really want to take a play this high in premium on funded? Like, you know what the funded play was? This was the funded play. And this probably would have been a break even, to be honest, because we created an internal high here and we swept it, and then price came back to the entry. But I don't know. So, like, some people got lucky. So yeah, do you guys kind of see, you know, why I say hold a runner here, and like the idea behind it, and what kind of gives you the conviction to hold a runner? Because realistically, if there's no confluences against your trade here, if there's no draws on liquidity that we've left behind or inefficiencies that have been left untapped, it kind of makes sense to see price continue to go higher, right? The only time price is going to retrace is if there's inefficiencies or liquidity that we've left behind. And here, there's not really that. We won't get an inefficiency until another 3 minutes from now. So you can kind of wait until then to decide whether or not you're going to take full profit. When we hit this high here, that's when I would take full profit, right? Because why? Why would I take full profit here at this high? When's the next CPI? I think it's the second Wednesday of the month, right? Market maker buy model complete, correct? So buy model complete. So whenever we complete a market maker model, we want to take profit. The other reason why is because it's a high inside of a fair value gap, right? So we don't know what order flow is going to be once we've taken out this high. And so we have to wait for order flow to be confirmed before assuming we'll go to this high. Obviously, based on this momentum up, the fact that, you know, based on this candle, it looks like price is going to create an order block here, and, you know, we'll get the inverse. So that tells us we're probably going to go for this high. But we won't know that for certain until another 30 minutes from now. So that's kind of why we got to wait. It'll definitely be helpful, though, for us to know if we're going up here in about a minute and a half if we close over this 30-minute gap. So there's that, too. I think we might get an SMT at high of day here. It looks like ES is a little behind us, so we'll just see. 30-second inverse. Yeah, not yet. Not yet. Maybe to the downside, you know, if we get a bearish reaction. So there's the high. That's final TP for me. That was like 5R. So cool. Type 1 if you took that. Alrighty. Well, I'm probably going to end it here for all you free people. I hope you guys got some value out of that, learned something new, and maybe caught that trade with us. If you'd like to, you know, continue your session and, you know, see more of what PM's about, you can go to wap.com/NQReliable, and it's $50 a month. And yeah, for free people, I'll probably see you in the AM stream. Otherwise, catch the rest of you later. PM, see you in a sec. Yo. Alrighty. Let me get the screenshot ready. Well, I'm going to feel bad for anyone that, you know, obviously wasn't here for PM when I alerted this, but hopefully you guys saw where price was going and my overall idea, so if you were able to jump in late, this was a good trade. You're not trading your funded? No, I am. I just didn't think this was a funded account worthy play. That's why I took it on eval, but it was definitely a good trade. $30 short. Oh yeah. Maybe. This 30-second probably isn't enough to determine order flow. So I think just based off of how much we're displacing past buy side, we're going to go for this high. Right? Did we get the 30-minute inverse there too? Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, we're just gonna go for buy side. Yeah. If you're still holding a runner here, that's fine. You start now at 13. No, Marwin, I just started early today because I saw the price action. I saw the fact that we were putting in this market maker model here, and I wanted to try and take advantage of it and catch some of the move. Can I just start entering off of protected lows or protected highs? I don't. I've never backtested that kind of a strategy, so I don't know, mommy. What if we retracing in an IFG? Would that be valid? Okay, so do you guys think we're probably too high up at this point to be taking more longs? Yeah, we're probably a little too high up. So at this point for PM, what we would need to see, obviously, is a pretty big retrace. We would need to see like, I don't know, this low is obvious here, but we want to see 50% aligned with an inefficiency. Honestly, it's so difficult to say. Like, it just doesn't make sense to pull back here if we're really bullish. I don't know. Already took something? Yeah, Pike. Yeah, we hopped on early today. I didn't really make an announcement about it. I guess I could have, but uh, wait. I guess free people are able to create threats. Okay, let me adjust that. There we go. All right. Am I done for the day? No, I'm not done for the day. We'll find something else. Right now, we're kind of gauging the reaction to price taking this high. This 30-second is definitely interesting. I want to create an inefficiency here. I just don't love taking this 30-second play because you're shorting directly into a 5-minute gap. I think if you take this, you have to go break even pretty quickly. What have I taken today? Sure. So I took the longs this morning. Um, took this 3-minute long, got break even on micros, and then we put in the data wick here at 9:45. So when I saw this momentum candle, I just jumped back in, chased it, and then I don't know, took it till this high here, and then that was my only play, and then everything else after this was pretty choppy, and then this was a plus, and this was probably a break even because when we hit the 1-minute gap here, the high or whatever it was, and we pull back, that becomes a break even trade, and then this was a plus too. I really like this trade. So I took this. So I've taken this play. I took the 3-minute long, and then I took this on eval, and those were my setups for today. 9:45 was a data wick. Yeah, we had news at 9:45 today. So now I kind of expect price to consolidate here. I think it makes sense to consolidate a bit. I mean, we've moved so much today. Why are you on the charts at 1250? Because I'm watching my phone blow up with Iran war news, and then I look at the chart, and it's a perfect V shape. What about the 3-minute from 11 a.m.? Probably not. Longing after buy side, longing with conflicting order flow. But it's good V shape. It's a good mechanical setup. I just would never take it.
Dude, lunch has been
Short winning
textbook.
valid. Oh, dodgy.
Oh my god. Did anyone take that 15-minute long?
Yeah. Yep. We took that.
No, you weren't live then.
No, I was live. I've been live since 12:50.
What?
Yeah, check the chat. I jumped on stream early and I alerted the setup.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wait, did he actually? No way.
Yes. Check.
What?
You can check the PM stream chat. I've been live for like 40 minutes already. I have the recording for it too.
Dude, wasn't that textbook?
Yeah, it was fire.
15-minute, perfect V shape, swept the low, soup, delivered off the front alley gap, in discount. Wow.
We were in this. We took this 30-second long, which
Oh yeah, that was a banger too.
I said the idea was, okay, we're basically entering here. This is our entry model. This gives us our stop, but the idea is the 15-minute. Okay, and
Yeah,
even
that's
on the
crazy.
10-minute, it looks pretty good. So we were kind of basing it off that, and then just hoping that price, obviously ran a buy side here.
I took the 30-second from bottom and held to the high.
Yeah, okay. I would have been break even on
I
this for
did.
sure. Because this candle.
Yeah, I did. So I'm only up like 11 hours today, but
Something
I'm
light.
probably gonna try to get to 15.
Okay. It's so funny. Everyone was complaining about price action like a week and a half ago or whatever. I'm like, guys, just chill. We have contract rollover. We have OPEX. We have all this other BS. Just chill. And then, of course, the war
gonna be
helps.
shit the next 4 days again.
But yeah, now
Dude, what a day, man.
I don't even know what to say. I feel bad because normally start PM at 1:30, and I was just on the charts, just like I messaged Dodgy in Indices chat, or not Dodgy, Johnny in Indices chat, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna hop on stream early, but I didn't make an announcement post for it. So we had like 150 people in here when I alerted it, but a few people. And
Wait, you had 150 people in here?
Yeah,
Wait, what?
yeah.
To PM stream only.
No. I accidentally left it on premium from FOMC from when I did the free stream. And so I was just like, I'll just let them hang out in here. But I don't know.
And then did he stop it?
Yeah. Just at 1:30.
Damn.
Nah, Murmur, I got locked in on the trade, man. I was answering questions. I forgot to. But yeah, I mean, all this volatility is. Have you seen any of the war news yet?
No.
Iran attacked Qatar.
I saw Iran bomb Qatar,
Yeah.
U.S. facing Qatar. Anything else after that?
Iraq went on high alert for like any incoming attacks, and they activated their anti-air defense systems at the military bases and the whatever. So I don't know. There was that, and then I think U.S. launched fighters towards Iran. So yeah, I mean, I think at this point it's safe to say Congress is gonna send out the confirmation of war probably later today or tomorrow or whatever.
Oh, by the way, just so you know, Gabriel is gonna be taking over PM streams.
Oh, type shit. He's gonna be
Yeah, he just
when I
texted.
go on break or whatever.
Gabriel texted me earlier.
Okay. Hell yeah, dude.
I don't know if he's here. But he said he was. Oh yeah, there he is. Yeah, Gabriel texted me earlier. He's taking over PM streams.
All right, I'm inviting him.
And
to
if
the
he's
stage.
losing play, he has to quit trading forever. So yeah.
All right, Gabriel.
Hey, Gabriel,
You got this, man. Good luck.
what's the bias? Oh, looks like he's cracking under pressure. Did he request his beak?
No, I just invited him up.
Dude's silent. Nah, I couldn't hear you, Gabriel. Yo, I feel like we have an up and coming student that could possibly take over some streams in a year.
Oh yeah, who is it?
Guess.
Big Vert.
I'm being serious. What?
Big Vert.
Yes, sir. I see potential in him. Yeah, you Vert. You've been active. You've been, grinding.
Nah, low key, it's Morik, dude.
Morik, nah, he doesn't trade my model.
Nah, he was actually talking shit about it.
Okay.
He was in the coffee and chill. He's like, I don't even know why you guys trade Dodgy's model.
Did he actually?
Nice. I don't know. Somebody said something, but I don't know.
Akim, you have to individually lower and raise our volume. Dude, Morik's model is buying and selling off random order blocks and liquidity to the left.
Dude,
I had dinner with him.
Imagine
I had
taking
dinner with
options
him.
here, bro.
Holy shit. What is that over Dubai?
Oh god.
Yes, lads, there's something coming from this way. Look. And then.
What are
There
those?
we go. This is cool as fuck. There's people crying.
Missiles?
There's people in the building crying, but we're just the hell.
Those are not missiles, bro.
Yeah.
Those are missiles?
Yeah. Anti-air.
Oh my god, dude. Are those the ones from Iran to the Qatar?
I don't know. Dubai is UAE, right?
Yeah, it's near Qatar.
Damn.
Dude, this is so stupid. They just closed so you can't fly into Dubai right now?
Dude, all those like Forex influencers that I just thought about that. All those Forex influencers that moved over there to like take advantage of taxes and all that shit just figured out why you stay in the US. Dude, they're gonna be like enemy number one over there because like everyone is gonna hate Americans right now. Dude, that's so funny. Yeah, you couldn't pay me to live in the Middle East. No disrespect. It's mainly because of America. We do too much stuff over there. Ever been to the Middle East? No, yeah. So yeah, consolidating after taking out liquidity, completing the market maker model, that kind of makes sense. I think we're just kind of waiting for another 15 minutes from now to confirm buy side here when we inverse the 1 hour. Obviously that 30-minute inverse is pretty significant and we created the order block there, so you should just see price go up. One-minute inverse to the upside. Still waiting on the 30-second here. You know, this is another FU long. I bet it works, but at this point, you know, you should either be holding a runner from the initial long or I don't know. Is anyone still in longs? Like Johnny, are you still in your position?
I bottomed to low a day and I'm still in. I'm probably gonna sell whenever we make a high day at the top.
At 22,130. Maybe even like, what would this high be? Yeah, like that.
All right, peace.
All right, peace. 2 minute short, low key. I do not think I will be shorting today. Nice, Seb. $22,131 soup. Yeah, I mean, obviously, if we get a bearish reaction, start seeing bearish order flow get put in, we could definitely see, shorts today, maybe down to like the 15-minute here. All right. Because this is probably going to be 50%, if we draw it from here to here. Makes sense. Soup, same as liquidity sweep. It's just, so a liquidity sweep is like when price comes up and takes a high, right? A soup is when we take the high, but we don't displace past it. Right? So a liquidity sweep doesn't necessarily mean that it's a soup, but every soup is a liquidity sweep. SMT, right? Yep, we have an SMT at this previous high here. I don't think it's really going to matter, though. Should just break it. Yeah, Seb, yep. What's a turtle soup? It's when price does not displace past a previous high or previous low. $21,739. Is it a soup or a sweep? Soup. It's a soup and a sweep are the same thing. So yeah, what Apoff said. Basically, the idea is turtle traders, what they'll do is they'll play breakouts of the ranges. So when we sweep external liquidity, people will enter either short or long. Well, the idea behind turtle soup is we're going to make soup out of the turtle traders. Two-minute short A plus. No. Because the inverse here isn't a gap that tells us a story about order flow. But I like it because the SMT and the macro and the inefficiencies we've left behind and the fact that we slept some liquidity and the fact that we're respecting bearish PD race to the left here. So yeah, yep, tag. Honestly, it's up to you. It's kind of up to you. I might take it for fun, but I don't know. I've already passed a few evals today. I'm up crazy unfunded, so I'm gonna try and be picky. This is not really a trade I want to see yet because external liquidity hasn't been swept yet. We just have these internal highs in the higher time frame that have been swept. I'm kind of thinking we just don't inverse the gap and we just go up. That's kind of what I'm hoping for. But yeah, honestly, I'm so glad like price action came back the way it did this week because it just like goes to show, you just gotta wait for, you just gotta be patient essentially, right? Like we knew exactly how this was going to play out, when we were looking at it 2 weeks ago. Um, do I think this is a good setup? I'm like still trying to figure it out. I think the biggest thing that's throwing me off is the conflicting draws and the fact that like order flow is like a little bit weird right now because when we inverse this 30-minute gap and put it in an order block and we're this bullish, I just think that this is like price action accumulating, waiting for the next opportunity. But we're in the macro, so it doesn't really make sense as far as time to see price accumulate here. So that's what's throwing me off is like I see an SMT, I see price during the macro, but bias is what's throwing me. Momentum here isn't horrible. It's not amazing. Obviously we would have rather seen a singular um, candle come back down here instead of it taking 3 candles, but I still like, how price is moving. If it takes another candle to close, forget it. But if we got it on this candle, I could understand, you taking this setup. I might just take it like half size for fun, depending on the close here. Nope, no inverse. So yeah, I wouldn't take the setup now. Nah, look, trend line. Oh, trend line. This is actually a trend line. I'll agree. I agree, Vert. This will be good liquidity, hopefully, later. Still long? No, I got out. I've been out of the longs. So it's so funny how Vert talks about these trend lines, and we're about to watch one instantly fail. What's my dream scenario? Honestly, it would be for price to take out external liquidity here, and then target the inefficiencies we left behind. But I don't know. So we got another 1 minute before the 2-minute inverses here. Did we get a 3-minute anything? 5? No. Okay, so yeah, not really any clean inverses besides, I guess, maybe the 1 minute there. If you took the 1 minute inverse or you were short here, obviously your break-even point is probably going to be this low. There's no reason why price shouldn't hit it. Do we anticipate a super performing a protected high / low on the higher time frame? Well, the thing is, you anticipate a soup when it's a high or low inside of a fair value gap. And we leave behind inefficiencies or conflicting draws, right? So you don't really anticipate a soup when we create a protected high or low because the soup has already happened at that point, right? The creation of the protected high or low is the soup, right? And so what you're more doing is actually you're anticipating the protected high or low after the soup is formed, right? So yeah, just switch it other way around, EJ, and then yeah, the times you anticipate a soup are when we have like typical AMD setting up. So we like accumulate before a low is swept or a high is swept, and then we take out that high, and that high is inside of a fair value gap. And in the process of accumulating, we've left liquidity behind, for price to distribute to, or we've left inefficiencies like on the 15 or 1 hour, whatever. Does that make sense? So like today, the reason why we got the soup. Oh, also you can expect soups when we get SMTs. That's also, you know, when you can anticipate them. So today the soup obviously happened twice when we had a low inside of this hourly gap, right? Also, soups are very prevalent on which days? There's a specific name for it. What would today be classified as, where price is taking out higher highs and lower lows throughout the day? All right, Seb. See you tomorrow. Congrats on the second payout. Yeah, the 3-minute long, and then I just jumped back in when I got break even on micros. When we created the data wick and we got a good momentum candle back up. Yeah, Brandon, seek and destroy. So another way you can anticipate soups is during seek and destroy conditions. So if you recognized, okay, today's definitely that signature in price where we've created higher highs, and then we souped those highs and came back and made a lower low. Then we made a lower low again. Then we made a higher high. We souped the high and we come back. This is seek and destroy, right? So like right now, it makes sense to look for shorts, right? But we need to take out liquidity. But it only makes sense to look for shorts if our order flow on the higher time frame aligns with that idea. And right now, based off of what we're seeing and the fact that we're about to inverse this hourly to the upside, the fact that we're about to put in these order blocks, order flow in the higher time frame does not align with the idea of this being seek and destroy, where we're going to come back down and soup this high, right? We've displaced past it too much. So the idea behind trying to take this short right now is that it doesn't necessarily align with that higher time frame order flow. You know, maybe it works to the low here, but most likely it won't be like a full-on reversal. The only time we'll see a full-on reversal here is when order flow switches back neutral, which that'll happen when we take out these highs here, because if you notice, what do we have here? High inside of a gap, right? High inside the 1 hour. So we know that price will become neutral here, and we'll have to once again gauge that reaction to the gap. Whether we soup the high or we displace past it, we inverse it, whatever happens, right? All right, so it's all starting to make sense. What about the current 1 hour IFEG? I mean, the current 1 hour IFEG, you should be in off of the 15-minute here, right? Like this idea. Current 1 hour IFEG, we would expect to work to buy side, right? We're kind of getting this like LRLR thing going on in the higher time frame here. So maybe, you know, price is able to propel to this high inside the gap, and then this is a roadblock. And then, you know, if we displace past this, then we'll see this high get hit. Jumped in again. Where this morning? This morning, so we had the 3-minute, okay? So I took this initial inverse here. And then when price came back on micros and stopped me out break even, we created the data wick. So this was like the break even point, I think, here. We wicked down. And then I got slipped for like 6 points. And then we create the data wick here. And then when we get this candle, I just jump back in. And I wrote it up to like this high. So the idea was it was like an inverse on like, I don't know, the 15 second or whatever it was. Basically, it was just off the initial 3-minute inverse. It never failed. I just got unlucky there with the delivery. And so I just jumped back in knowing that price was going to run buy side because we had these stacked highs here. And then this was London high. So good time-based liquidity to target there. And the momentum up was pretty convincing. And then the other two good trades is today were this 30-second long here, the 30-second short here, and then obviously the long that we took on the 15-minute. Was that only funded you took play that chase? No, I took this unfunded too, this short here. So I took this unfunded, took this unfunded, took that on eval. I wasn't on for this. I missed this. Yeah, sure, Sheets. Or you can just throw it in chat here and we'll talk about it. So yeah, 946.30. 137 was probably a break even. That was my thought. Yeah, this was a break even. Fahrenheit. So I don't really feel bad about missing it because if I would have taken this trade, gotten break even, and then watched price pump 300 points, I probably would be like on the side of a bridge right now. I wouldn't be on stream. Is Chase's a trade you take without a real entry with really high? Yeah, basically K trades. Yeah, it's just a trade you take with high conviction without a model, or like when you re-enter after the model has break evened you. That sounds like bad habits. It's only bad habits if you revenge trade by doing that. If you're like, using some semblance of a risk profile, and like, you're not being stupid, like, it's fine. Like, my stop loss for this trade was below this order block, so I almost got stopped on it. But when I jumped in, like here, right? It was like here, and it was like a 20-point stop, and I'd gone in with like 3 contracts risk, so it wasn't anything too crazy, right? And I have a hard stop there because I know that, okay, if price is bullish here, should we be violating this order block? Right, probably not. So you're gonna find that oftentimes you're gonna use ICT concepts that don't necessarily align with the entry model. The entry model is just there to give you some guidance as far as risk, and to, give you an entry, right? The majority of your trading is actually going to be based off of bias, momentum, and time, right? Like, when time and price align, that's when you enter. When you have a good bias, that's when you enter. You're not really entering based off of just like a model, right? You can enter off of any model. You can enter off of trend lines. You can enter off of unicorns. You can enter off anything, but that's not what's important, right? What's important is understanding how liquidity operates, how order flow operates, and how to take advantage of those things to find an edge. Yeah. The jujitsu, the idea was basically off the 3-minute, right? I just found a re-entry because I got stop break even when micros did that like massive wick. Okay, so sheets. A setup in premium, pump off. Oh, this is the 3-minute long at 11. So yeah, the problem with this long is just you're longing when order flow is uncertain. You're also longing after the distribution play. So I think mechanically it's a good setup, but subjectively it's not good, right? But yeah, mechanically this is an A+ setup. Subjectively, it's probably not. Yeah, I mean, this is that typical three candle V-shape inverse. You're basically just taking a play off of momentum in the model. So this is like a good eval trade, but like bias and time aren't there. Or actually, no, time was there, so you had the macro, but really it's just bias, right? And just overall, like, sorry, wait. You have momentum, you have time, but you don't have the model because you're longing in premium, you're longing after distribution has played out, you're longing without a clear bias. So this is momentum and time. My bad. Got a little confused. Dodgy said it was a banger. I mean, if Dodgy likes to long after buy sides hit inside of a 1-hour bearish gap, sure, it's a banger, I guess. So yeah, now we're accumulating. It makes sense to see accumulation here, right? Why did I think that price was not going to accumulate here, and why did I assume price was going to accumulate here? What made me think that price was going to accumulate? Okay, but we got the expansion move here too. So what made me think that price was going to continue to see expansion here? We got the distribution play. We completed the market maker model. News pumping us. 15-minute. Okay. What is typical when we see distribution? How many legs of distribution do we see? 3? Yeah, 2-stage delivery, right? Right, we say, okay, here's first leg of distribution, here's second leg. So when I was looking at this play, did you guys hear me mention, the idea here is, okay, maybe we accumulate for a bit and then we see second leg of distribution. Do you remember when I was saying that? And my condition for that was going to be this 5-minute here, this 5 and 15-minute. So when we broke above this high, that's what gave me the conviction here to say, oh, okay, this is going to work for a long. I'm going to take this on eval, right? Because I knew that this was the second leg of distribution playing out, and second leg of distribution is going to play out typically to where? Where are we going to complete? Buy side or sell side, right? At the end of the market maker model. So it made sense to see price when we had this much momentum. We were putting in order blocks. We inversed the 15-minute to see price go to this high, right? It's really, really easy. Really, really easy. But now that we've completed that second stage of distribution, does it make sense to see higher prices now? Without, like, something. Yeah, probably not. We need to see, like, structure to form. We need to see, like, AMD something to support this idea. If anything, what I expect right now is just a slow grind up. I don't really think this is distribution at this point. I think we're just going to slow grind up. But I think right now all we're doing is making structure. So if we hadn't hopped on early here, forget it. PM was going to be cooked. I mean, there's not really anything for us right now. Maybe towards 3 we'll get something because we'll have the time. But yeah, I mean, we got the hourly inverse there. So essentially, we're just waiting for price to sweep out external or to provide us with a confirmation setup off the 15 minute to take it to that, final target. I just hate the idea of longing here because we're so high in premium, right? Before it was okay because we still had all this liquidity intact from this morning. But now that we're kind of in no man's land, I feel less confident about taking longs here. I would rather wait for that to be inversed. So, almost got another SMT there. How was everyone's weekend? You went to Walmart, Fire. Pretty busy. Oh yeah, Friday was amazing. Thank you guys for giving me the day. Really really awesome. I made her day, so that was cool. Best part of the day obviously was seeing her enjoy. She's never been to a salon before. She'd never been to a salon before, so that was one of the things we did yesterday. Was I took her to the salon and she got her hair cut and did like a blowout and like it was great. And so that was cool to see her get excited about, oh my gosh, my hair is like so whatever. And then after that we went shopping and she bought some of the makeup she needed, and we went to this place called World Market down in Ann Arbor, and that was cool. There was a lot of cool home decor that she bought there, and so yeah, we just hung out the whole day. Just enjoyed each other, and that was about it. In Ann Arbor, though, we went to dinner at this place called Chapala. It's like this Mexican restaurant, and I ordered tacos there. And I got pastor, and they had the trompo, and they had pineapple on top of it, just like in Puerto Vallarta when I was down there. And that's my absolute favorite way to eat tacos is, onion, cilantro, lime, pineapple, a little bit of salsa, and so it tasted really similar to the one I got down in Puerto Vallarta. And then they had F1 going on the TV, and it was during happy hour, where they had $3 Mexican draft beers, and so I got a Pacifico with my tacos, and that was really good. You like lengua? Yeah, I like lengua. I've had it when my dad gets it down in Mexican town. Yeah, I know. It was like a little treat for me after everything that we'd done that day, but yeah, it was cool. But yeah, it's tough right now for her family because her brother just went to he actually enlisted into the Army National Guard probably 3 months ago, and so they're all kind of obviously nervous about everything that's going on. So we were there yesterday celebrating her dad's birthday, and obviously that was all going on. They were expecting a phone call from him, and they got it, which was cool. But it was after we left. Have you ever had a California burrito? I haven't, but I've had California fries, which is kind of the same thing. Isn't a California burrito just fries in the burrito basically with carne asada and maybe guac or whatever? Yeah, those are good. But yeah, I like fajitas, and I like just street tacos. My dad, he'll get the molcajete sometimes, and he'll get 9 million different things in it. But yeah, right now, price is still, respecting bullish PD raise here. Obviously, we disrespected this 2 minute here, but I kind of said, based on how this was kind of creating structure, it didn't really make sense to see price, come down here, and it's kind of the reason why I avoided taking it. But I just think, slow grind up makes sense. 30-second here. I mean, obviously you should be in from lower. This gap isn't that obvious. We get the liquidity sweep here this low. But momentum has kind of died at this point. So you're kind of just taking a long in accumulation phase, really high in premium. So maybe you can paper it and you can watch the outcome, but I wouldn't take that on an eval or a funded. Just want to tell you, Reliable, that I really enjoy these PM streams, and I feel like I'm learning a lot already. 1 week in. Awesome K trades. I'm glad that you've found some value in it. If you're not comfortable enough to take a play unfunded, why would you take it on eval? Well, because it's different risk tolerances, right? So an eval play you might take because it wins half the time or 60% of the time, and you're targeting really good risk to reward. So like in this trade here, I'm longing high in premium. So I know that the probability of this working out isn't as high as taking a long in discount. But because I see this, good signature in price, and because I know that there's still buy side above, I know that this will probably work for a decent amount of risk to reward here, right? So knowing that this is lower probability, but that I'm going to benefit from the risk to reward here, I can take this play on eval. But because I know it's lower probability, I don't necessarily want to take this on a funded, because I know that if this doesn't work out, I'm going to be losing 1R. And so on fundeds, what I end up doing most often is I will take higher probability, lower RR plays, and on eval, I will take lower probability, higher RR plays. Does that make sense? Why do you think 1 minute is good enough to short? I just don't want to be short here at all. So I just wouldn't short anything. But yeah, so these are funded scenarios, okay? Funded scenarios. High probability, low RR. High probability, high RR, eval, low probability, high RR, and then paper, low probability, low RR. Does that make sense? And the reason why you want to target high RR and eval is so that you can get it passed quicker, right? Okay, a little interesting setup here. I mean, obviously, I said I don't really want to take a short right now, but I like this momentum. So we're outside the macro, so we don't have time. We don't have the model. We don't have bias. So this is a momentum play if you try it. This is why I said I wouldn't take it on eval. You only have one part of the equation. But, you know, sometimes these momentum plays are good enough to get to 1-to-1, get to the break even. But this is that scenario where you have low probability / low RR. Do I think that this play is going to result in a big move to the downside? No. This is actually relevant to this PDF that, you know, Dodge is talking about. Why would this 1 minute play not convince me that we're going to make some big expansive move? Buy side above, okay. In terms of time, higher time frame order flow is still bullish, sure. Outside of macro, sure. We're almost there. We're almost there. Think about the PDF. If you guys have seen that. Time frame alignment. 1 is going to align with what? What time frame? At most. 15? Yeah, 15. I would say 5, but yeah, 15. Sure. I know the PDF probably says 15, so we'll go with that. So based off that idea, where is price most likely to stop at if we inverse this 1 minute? Given time frame alignment. The 15-minute for value gap, right? So maybe this one or maybe this one, right? So if we go to this lower one, sure. You know, that's pretty good risk to reward. But if we just come down to here, okay, we enter here, let's say there's a 30-second inception. There's not. Okay, so it would just be based off this. So either way, this is good risk to reward even to this. It's 2R. So maybe you do take this on eval. But usually for eval, what I like to do is I like to take at least a combination of some two. So whether that's model, momentum, bias, momentum, time, momentum, you know, whatever it is. And so right now when it's just momentum, that's the other thing is it's just too low probability. If I'm taking this setup, in order to be profitable, I would need to see this setup work at least a third of the time. And I think that the win rate for this setup is even lower than that. I think it's probably like a quarter of the time. So that's the reason why I wouldn't take it. It's, yeah, and we're accumulating too, right? So whenever we're in this accumulation phase, I wouldn't expect price to suddenly start distributing until we get what? What do I need for price? Manipulation leg, right? So that's the other piece of this too, is if I'm sitting here expecting a big distribution move to happen, but we didn't get a manipulation leg first, what's most likely to happen is that this short will result in price getting a manipulation leg that actually ends up resulting in a long. So that's another reason why I don't think that this short is actually that good for what we're trying to achieve by taking an eval short, because the risk to reward just isn't there, because you're not going to get the reward portion. You're just going to be, you know, taking this trade, maybe it ends up being a break even, and then, you know, whatever. Yeah, for sure, Marwin, right? Yeah, if we saw a short here, that'd be fine. Because then that would be telling us what about order flow? If we got like a bearish reaction. Right, maybe lower time frame order flow wants to switch. And then we're leaving inefficiencies behind too, right? You know, I'm guessing there'll be an hourly inefficiency that gets created here at 3. And so maybe we can target that hourly inefficiency. Ooh, yeah, that's the play. That's it. we get, longs here, maybe at the 250 macro. Take out the high. 3 o'clock comes around. We don't inverse the gap. Hit one side of the hourly candle and then take out previous side of the hourly candle. Brandon, I usually will take one win on AM and one win on PM. That's what I try and do. So, you can still trade them live if you want. Especially on a day like today where you probably are up like at least 2R. You can risk another 1R this session. And then you're still green on the day if like the trade doesn't work out. Yeah, that would be sick. If we came up here, took our previous hourly high, and then swept previous hourly low, that would be like our setup. I'm just waiting for price to accumulate here, and then we manipulate up, take out the highs, and then we get distribution down to target the 1 hour. So something like this. Where we continue to accumulate, manipulate up at 50, and then come back. That would be the idea. But, we've gotten a lot of expansion today, so we'll see. Hell yeah, APOF. This bullish flag pattern about to go crazy. All right, what's the bullish flag pattern? Tell me, is it this? Something like that? I don't know. Oh, by the way, Iran apparently made the threat that there are sleeper cells in the U.S. So I definitely feel like we're at a very different point from Iraq. Iran at this point is kind of provoking. So, of course, the initial attack is like an act of war. But, even in the past, they've always kind of provoked the U.S. So this was probably just, a matter of time. Well, they're provoking us by talking about like sleeper cells. How are you provoking if you get punched in the face first? Sure. Well, there's the 1 minute inverse, by the way. So we can watch this play out. Break even, I think, would be this low because it's probably a low inside the 30-second. But the idea essentially is, okay, the regime in Iran has been talking about, death to Americans and is promoting this culture of hatred towards America, which understandably so, the imperialism that we've done to the Middle East probably warrants some hate back, right? It's similar to how, Israel provoking Palestinians and creating Hamas, essentially, right? And so I understand the hatred that Middle Easterners have towards America. However, when they are talking about creating nuclear weapons and there is actual evidence of them stockpiling enriched uranium, that becomes a problem. So, I don't know. Did I vote? Yeah, I voted. But you'll never know who I voted for. Easiest to bomb all the world for the U.S. Yeah, I guess. Um, for what the election? Jill Stein, dude. Jill Stein is an idiot. I hate Jill Stein. She shows up once every 4 years to collect a check and then runs away, and she doesn't actually do anything for the political climate. But yeah, I don't know. I think the only reason why this happened is probably because of us backing out of the Iran nuclear deal. I feel like if we hadn't backed out of it, we wouldn't be dealing with the stockpiled enriched uranium now, which wouldn't give us an excuse to attack Iran. But the problem is that's not the goal. The goal of the U.S. right now, I think, is to create that canal that runs through Israel and Gaza to circumvent the Middle Eastern control of like that port or strait or whatever it is by Cairo. That way, you know, Middle Eastern countries have less control over trade in that region, which will obviously benefit both the U.S. and Israel monetarily. And so with that being the main goal, when you have Iran who's supporting, you know, terror groups and whatever, and being overall opponents to this idea, they were going to, you know, they represent a problem. They need to be addressed, right? So that's really, I feel like, what the overall goal is of this conflict. Not necessarily the weapons of mass destruction or anything like that. It's just that they're, I don't know. Are we really at war? I mean, the videos I've seen kind of makes it look like we are. Sorry, Murmur, I forgot. Yeah, let's talk about the charts. All right, guys, so we are making these candles here, and these candles are not giving us any fair value gaps. So while we're not getting any fair value gaps here, I just wouldn't be entering any trades. Oh, all right, there's the break even. Okay. And then I would scale probably at this 15-minute. I would probably just sell everything here. Yeah, Tommy, that's the other thing too. I don't want to ever be on the same side as Israel in a conflict. I think we talked about this earlier too, but at the same time, I also am not on the side of Iran. Well, because Israel's committing a genocide. So I don't want to be on the same side as a genocidal country, and I don't necessarily want to be on the same side as a country that persecutes their minorities to the degree that Iran does, and is threatening to kill Americans and is trying to create nukes. Yeah, I know, Murmar. Like, I hate all of it. Yeah, and of course, that's the reason why, Brandon, because at the end of the day, whenever you're looking at geopolitics or any political issue in the world, it all comes back to one fact. You know, it has nothing to do with the culture war. It has nothing to do with religion. What is the one thing that ties all political, you know, problems together? Yeah, I mean, it's money, right? So at the end of the day, that's what this is all about, you know. And there's nobody can be on the good side when your main focus is money. So anyway, guys, let's get back to trading where all we do is talk about money and how to make more of it. Do I think the dollar's going to... No, absolutely not. So yeah, this 1 minute would have been a break-even trade, right? That was kind of the idea that I was going for here. When I said, not to take this. I mean, you could have scaled at this low inside the gap here, but why not try and hold for the actual draw? Obviously, it's just going to be bad delivery because we're in an accumulation phase. So that was kind of the idea behind sitting out of this. How do I think Powell speaking tomorrow will affect trading? I feel like we kind of have a good idea of where the Federal Reserve is at based on their last FOMC meeting. If that's changed because of the war, then obviously him speaking tomorrow will affect the markets, right? If he's talking about going back on what he mentioned last week as far as FOMC regarding, not cutting rates or anything like that. If he goes back on that, then obviously that's probably going to cause the markets to go up. If he's, going along with the same sentiment, we'll probably just see a flat day. Yeah, that's what I saw today too, Fahrenheit. It's weird that, I mean, I guess it's not weird. It makes sense, The Federal Reserve is always going to pivot given a changing market conditions. And so because of this conflict, we're going to see higher inflation rates due to, restrictions on oil production and obviously, things like the Straits of, Hormuz or whatever it is, that strait that Iran controls. And so because of that, they want to try and find ways to curb inflation. And one of those ways that the Federal Reserve does that is by cutting rates. Strait of Hormuz, yeah. And so it makes complete sense to see maybe this pump today be a result of the market pricing in rate cuts. Maybe this is big institutional players, trying to get ahead of what's going to be said tomorrow. So I think honestly, like, that's the most likely outcome right now is a rate cut, maybe 2 rate cuts, before the end of the summer, coming into fall, because the Federal Reserve definitely probably wants to get ahead of all of the inflation that's going to be associated with this war. See, there is whoever's complaining about politics, there is a point. We come back around to, actually, something relevant to what we're talking about. There's a reason why we talk about these things. We come to conclusions about, the future of the market, right? And it makes sense though, right? When are we going to be able to align this idea of price going up with something on the charts technically, related to our model? Probably the 1 hour inverse here, right? If we see this, we'll probably expect all-time highs. I think, Fahrenheit, the idea behind the rate cuts isn't necessarily to increase inflation, it's to help with spending, right? Because as we see prices go up, if we have high prices, like high cost of goods, and a high cost of debt, like to take on debt, that's a recipe for a recession. So when we have something artificially increasing inflation, like, decreases on supply of oil, the effect that will cause by decreasing the cost to take on more debt, the effect that we'll have on inflation isn't actually that, significant compared to the effects that, the rising oil prices will have, right? And so by making it cheaper to take on debt, you're actually stimulating the economy, which is the problem that they're trying to tackle. It's the potential economic impacts that the cost of goods, being more expensive to produce, affects, right? They don't want a recession. They want to prevent a recession first, and then they want to prevent inflation second, right? And usually those two things are tied, but right now they're not. I feel like right now, we're already assuming inflation is going to go up based off the tariffs, based off of, the increase in the cost of oil. So now our primary concern is to make it so that, the cost of goods or the cost to take on debt is cheaper, right? Because we can't have a scenario where we have raising cost of goods, like cost to produce goods, and we can't have a situation where it's becoming more expensive to take on debt. What would be service debt or not service debt? I guess we'll just say take on debt, right? Like we can't have a scenario where both of these things are happening. Why is oil in a free fall? I have no idea. I thought oil was up. Oh God. Why is oil crashing? Maybe because increased production from other countries, so like we're overcorrection maybe, and then like when things even out, we'll see a rebound. I have no idea. Really, Fahrenheit? That's why? Okay, so if that happens, ignore everything I said. Powell's probably not going to cut rates. If basically it all hinges on whether or not that supply in oil is confirmed. If the supply in oil gets affected, then expect Powell to cut rates. If it doesn't, then just expect more of the same. I feel like yes, Death Candle. Like I agree with you. I kind of agree with you, but at the same time, it's also their job to help regulate the economy. Okay, let's. Maybe I'm mistaken. So you have maximum employment and stable prices. Okay. So how does my argument not fall in line with the idea of stable prices and maximum employment? If it's becoming more expensive to create goods and it's becoming more expensive to take on debt, what is going to be the factor that gets removed for a company to continue to exist? What is the easiest thing to remove when thinking about like the cost of production, right? It's jobs, right? So if the Fed's goal is to maintain maximum employment, wouldn't it make sense for them to cut rates to make debt cheaper to try and keep more people employed? Well, the fiscal policy of the Fed doesn't really align with what Congress does. That's more the budgeting. Like the Congress's ability to balance the budget is the problem as to why we've increased our debt so much, and it's also getting off the gold standard. It's both of those things, right? Um, Fed controls monetary policy, but not the budget. So when we talk about debt, we're talking about the budget, right? Monetary policy and the budget are two different things. Yes, but lower rates equals more inflation. Yeah. So I'm guessing this is what they're trying to figure out. This conversation we're having is probably the exact same conversation they're probably having at the Federal Reserve right now, trying to figure out, okay, what can we do as far as inflation goes? You know, and I'm guessing they have a bunch of models, you know, that they're running right now to figure out what is the most optimal outcome given multiple different situations. The national debt is a result of fiscal policy. No. Disagree. Well, I'm wrong. Okay. All right, fair enough. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sorry. I thought you were sorry. I thought you were talking about monetary policy again. Yes. You're right. which is what I said. The budget, the government's use of spending and taxation. That's literally the budget. But monetary policy isn't fiscal policy. Right? This is monetary policy. Manipulate the money supply and credit conditions, right? Yeah. Yeah, so that's what I mean. It's like when you were saying that it's the Fed's fault. Oh, you're saying fiscal policy. Yeah, no, I've just been wrong this whole time. My apologies, Death Candle. I got confused. Yeah, honestly, I'll just let Death Candle take over PM. I just lost any aura I had. The Federal Reserve is neither federal nor a bank. Yes. All right, Death Candle. You got this, man. I'll just be over here. I guess he's shy. We'll move him back. There's the 15-minute. Hey, Vert, can I get a trend line real quick? I don't know. Just give me a trend line, something. Sorry, I was so confused. He brought up. I'm an idiot. Damn. Well, I guess I'm an idiot today. Dream scenario: we sweep all these lows in the 1 minute FEG and macro, and then go to buy side. Yeah, that would be cool. We hit the 15 minutes, so I don't know. Maybe we see price start to go up. What do you mean, Vert? We got a trend line right here. $30-second long. Yeah, I mean, this was predictable. This is why I got on early today. I'm so glad I got on early. At least we got something, right? Well, I feel dumb, guys, and the reason why is because I had a whole conversation or a whole argument on Death Candle over a simple. I just didn't read the word right. But like we were on the same side that whole time. Yeah, probably, Vert. Well, it'll probably have to happen tomorrow. We need to see another attack happen, Vert. That's what needs to happen. Oh, okay. Well, here's another Fed speaker. I guess we can go over that. So we have Fed speaker Goolsbee. Okay. He's saying it's critical to look at all soft economic data at current moment of transition. Tariffs are not unlike oil shocks with stagflation implications. Current form of uncertainty is disconcerting for economy. Thus far, impact of tariffs is not as bad as feared. Tariff impact blunted by lowered levels and exemptions. Less immediate pass-through. Okay, so tariffs aren't a big deal. It's unclear right now how tariffs will drive inflation. The surprise so far is the inflation has jumped. Yeah, on tariffs, there hasn't been much inflation in the last 3 months. Very worried about the stagflation outlook without knowing if it will happen. I don't see stagflation like in the 1970s. There's no clear policy response to stagflation environment. I see risk that both of the Fed mandates worsen at the same time. Despite the intensifying hits, there has been no loss of oil supply. This is coming from Energy Intel reporter on X. Who said that at 1:30? Oh. Wait, what happened at 12:30 for it to crash? Wait. Okay, so the attacks happened at 12:30. So you're telling me because the attacks failed, oil dropped? Wait, that's so funny. Okay. AI boom might pose a risk to growth in the short term. Okay, well, that's been happening. All right, and then that's about it. Doesn't want more military engagement in the Middle East. Okay. Iran will continue its retaliation in response to the U.S. attacks. So what? Like, what are they going to do? They're just going to, like, attack, like, innocent military bases? That's funny. Alrighty. I mean, not innocent, but you know what I mean. Like, these people really didn't. I mean, maybe they did. I don't know. Yeah, they're not innocent. That was probably not the right word to use. They're going to attack military bases, and so the military bases are collateral damage. Yeah, Death Candle. My idea is that they're trying to get ahead of unemployment. It has less to do with inflation and more to do about potential unemployment. But also, I kind of agree with you. Like, there's no reason for them to cut interest rates yet. Okay. Yes. Harry, PM from 1:30 on has been horrible. Everything before PM was great, and so I jumped on at like 12:50, and we were able to catch this long, which was nice. I posted the trade recaps. Yeah, I think I tend to agree with you, Death Candle. So if even okay, so if nothing happens tomorrow, we're good. Like if there's no rate cuts or Powell doesn't mention anything like that, then we're good. If he does mention rate cuts, that's still bullish for the market though, because the market's going to be used as a hedge against inflation, and so they'll just move money into the market or into gold. So even irregardless of whatever happens tomorrow, we're probably still going to go up. Yeah, I agree. I don't even think their current rate is like crazy high either. The problem is though with increasing the prime rate is that it doesn't really affect the rich. It's just something that affects corporations and like the middle class. Because those are the people that are like actually, but also investments. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So the rich don't get the same rates that we do, and it's not really based off the prime rate. The rich will use their assets as collateral on any loans that they take out so that they don't have to pay interest, right? Umami, I'm not rich, dude. I'm like, I'm like, I'm very well off for my age, but I'm not rich. Like, rich is like probably 10 mil plus. Even Dodgy's like, he's like light rich, but he's not rich yet. I mean, Dodgy's out here having to sell cars to make it by. I mean, yeah, of course. You know, rich is relative. I'm talking about rich in the U.S. Rich in the U.S. is I can buy a home on a whim. Rich in the U.S. is like I can take vacations every month if I want to. Rich in the U.S. is I could exist and not have to work another day in my life. That's my idea of rich, at least. Being rich is like having influence on political campaigns. How am I feeling about longs? Maybe out of this 15 minute? Yeah, maybe out of the 15 minute if we get a good retrace here. And maybe we get it during 3 o'clock where we take out like the previous hourly low and then hit the previous hourly high. I don't think we'll get down to the 50% level here, but yeah, we could definitely see a long where I would really prefer to see price react to this 1 hour BISI. Maybe we need to hit this 1 hour gap and then go up. Do I work a 9 to 5? This is my 9 to 5. Oh yeah, that's never happening, Death Candle. At some point, I kind of feel like the devaluation of the dollar is somewhat beneficial to tackling um the debt. Like if we see more inflation, the debt will be easier to pay off. But realistically, it's not even that bad. Like if you really think about it, we kind of blow it out of proportion for a political thing. Like of course it sucks that we're accruing $1 trillion in interest a year, and that takes a big hit to our economy. But at the same time, our debt to GDP ratio isn't horrible compared to a country like China. Like China's debt to GDP is like so much worse than us. So like realistically, all it would take in order to pay back our debt, I think, is just like an increase in tax on corporations and rich people. But that's never going to happen because the rich people are the ones that control politics, right? So we live in this like oligarchy state where corporations control what happens in the government. So as long as that's happening, it's never gonna get repaid. But at the same time, like the U.S. government having debt doesn't really matter when the oligarchy is what controls everything. Like the corporations don't have debt. If the U.S. government crumbles, who cares? They'll have the oligarchy take over, and then that'll be it. Really? U.S. annual GDP. Ooh, okay. So our GDP is 27.72. So we are over 100%. China annual GDP. Okay, so their annual, I just saw that. So it's 18 trillion. China debt. Wait, what? I thought it was like 50 trillion. Oh, yeah, 36.8. Okay, so their debt to GDP is what, 200%? I mean, it's AI, so. But it just said their GDP was 18 trillion. And then, or not 18 trillion. I don't know. Canada is screwed. That's all I know. Oh my God! Look at Italy's 100. Oh my goodness. Greece is 170. Wait, so what is it saying China's GDP is? Oh, is it like on an annualized basis? So like the I don't understand. Wait, but Fahrenheit, is that right though? Because China, like when I look it up, it like gives me like, I guess national debt is what I want. Wait, why did I just get 3 different numbers? I don't know. Did you see though how I had like a 36 trillion number? What was that? Japan is 250. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. I'll just won't trust AI then. Yeah, okay. Sure. We'll say US is worse. I guess we're cooked. GG. Check 4 hour. We're hitting 4 hour trend line. Yeah, I've had that trend line marked actually, or not the 4 hour, but the hourly one. We're kind of hitting this. Yeah, I pointed that out earlier. Fahrenheit. This one's actually good. This is actually good. Oh yeah, no, Death Candle. I completely agree. I think the only way that we can fix it is through an increase in taxes or a war, which isn't that convenient that we're getting a war. Death Candle didn't seem to happen that way in World War II. We became the manufacturing superpower, and so as we enter a war, maybe we'll have to do the same thing again as in the 1950s. We become a manufacturing superpower, and we, produce things for other countries to rebuild with, and I don't know. The war is the bigger gamble, right? Like, you don't know. Obviously, it's like you either get even or get even worse, right? Um, yeah, war is definitely the gamble. Obviously, I think the most easy way to fix the debt is probably to increase taxes. But at the same time, if we increase taxes, companies will probably leave the U.S. And so we're kind of already screwed. Like, there's not really any way to make this happen as far as the debt goes. We did get the 1 hour gap here, and we are just going without tapping it. So that's fine. If we take out one side of the hourly, like we come up here first and then get the short back to the hourly, that's fine. 30-second printing. I would have never taken this 30-second, I don't think. This is an interesting chase play, I guess, but I probably will just sit out of it. Do you really think the U.S. will send boots on the ground in Iran? Yeah, we've done it before. Twice. No, once. Once in Iran, and then we did it with Iraq, 20 years ago. Guys, look, it's Vert's first day being interested in politics. He just learned that politicians lie. Yeah, Marwin, it's horrible. How do you stop them though? The problem isn't the politicians. If we were politicians, we would be playing the exact same game as them. If to be completely honest, maybe you're somebody like AOC, or maybe you're somebody like that one. I think it's representative from Michigan who doesn't have any stock, and you play that game, but you don't have any influence for politics. You're kind of doing your constituents a disservice by not playing the game, right? You have to play the game. Um, the problem is with the system when we made corporate PAC money so much easier for politicians to get, that basically legalized like bribery, right? With Citizens United and whatnot.
Yeah, huh? Wait.
What's going on, Dodgy?
Dude, I don't know if Dave Dow's still on here, but I said your thing was in Dubai and everyone's going full revenge on me. Like, no, that's actually Qatar.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone on Twitter's like making fun of me.
Yeah, so I mean, the UAE is different than Qatar, but I imagine because they're close enough that they would probably shut down the airspace, right? So like that idea wasn't bad. I thought that's what I was agreeing to.
Yeah, I'm like seeing. Yeah. That's fine.
But yeah, we've just been talking like basically politics this whole time. Fiscal policy, monetary policy. What were we just talking about right now? Oh, political corruption.
That's fair.
Yeah, but we don't know anything about it. We're all just stupid, and I'm 23, so. We're going to take the short setup if we get it. From the highs, like previous hourly high to previous hourly low, we tap into the hourly gap and we get a. That would be our TP, I guess. Not this short, though. No. I'd want to see a good liquidity sweep here. If we get the short now and it just hits the hourly gap, then that's it. And we'll probably have to take the long out of the gap, maybe. Did I take the 2 minute earlier? The 2 minute short? No. That would have been a break even, though. We took the 30-second long before stream. For those of the people that were in here, this was our setup. We took it, like, with the confluence being the 15-minute gap. Right, so this 15-minute inverse that happened, like, basically occurred at the same time as the 30-second inverse. And then, like, right now, I think we get previous hourly high to previous hourly low. Maybe Pale Boy, but, like, Buffett says a lot of things. Wait, how old is Buffett? Isn't he, like, 100? Buffet. There's a bearish system T with high of day. Oh, yeah. Well, that's going to be a problem. He's 94. Damn. Wait, Johnny. Oh no, that was dodgy. That was Crane earlier. My bad. Hey, you would have been stopped out anyway, Johnny. All good. At least now it's not a bottom tick. I think going break even there was fine, because of the SMT. You think the day is cooked? Dude, I just need Price to finish accumulating here. And then at 3:15, pump us up. And then we can get the short. If we get the long, I'd be okay to take it because that's delivery out of a higher time frame gap. And so we can kind of align it with that PDF. And we can say, okay, new dealing range. We've accumulated. We manipulate down, tap into the hourly gap, and then we get a long. Right, so that could be like AMD once again. We restart the model and we go up and we hit that high in the higher time frame, right? But if we just chop sideways here for the rest of the day and we stay in this range, then yeah, we're probably cooked. This is really easy, okay? If you guys don't want to be paying attention to the charts, set alerts here. Set alerts here. If we hit one side, hop back on the charts. If we don't, then that's your day. Joey, honestly, like, I've now switched to going to live. Like, that's my goal. So it's completely your prerogative, right? How many payouts have you taken from MFFU in total? Like, how much money? Because that's going to kind of influence your decision too. Because I think once you get to a certain point with payouts, they'll deny you from buying more accounts. Kind of like with what Apex did. They just don't let you. I think it's after like 80K in payouts, they don't let you request more. So if you're close to that, maybe consider going to live. If you're not, then forget it. The other thing is too, Joey. If you have too low of a balance, that's actually a good thing to go to live because they give you a $2,500 account if it's a 50K to start on. They give you like $2,500 starting balance, and then they give you a scaling plan, and you go from there. Be right back. Yo. Oh yeah, Joey, you can blow the accounts then. If that's your goal, is just cycle through and keep trading 3 accounts, right? So you have that scalability there, and then go for it, blow the account. But yeah, like I'm at a point where I need to consider moving to live so that I don't get banned from their site. I think once you hit 30 days, somebody will reach out to you. So like, if you can get the payout, like, what day are you on in the cycle? Are you on day 2 or 3? Like today, would today be your 3rd day? Because you could theoretically, if you get 2 more good days, you could request a final payout before blowing it. That might look a little suspicious though. I don't know what you want to do. I don't know. Normally by like the 4th period, I usually is when I'll talk like full port. I No, you do, Tommy, but you don't. I don't think you get the residual value. I think that just gets transferred to the live account. So like the way it works is like, okay, you're on a starter account. You request 5 payouts of $1,200 each. Okay. And then usually, like, unless you're making like stupid money, which is pretty unlikely because of the way the scaling plan works with the starter account, like you're not gonna be in a scenario where there's like 4K residual. Like over the course of you getting payouts, you should have requested that amount. And so the $2,500 that you get funded with when you get moved to live is basically the equivalent to whatever residual you have left in the account. If you're somebody who like maxed out your account still on Sim and like you were expecting to get paid on that, that's probably unlikely, right? Like they're not like Top Step in that regard where like you can just like max out risk and like run the account balance up really high and then request a 5K payout on a Sim account, right? So that's kind of like the idea, right? Is they want to create a program that you're able to profit off of, make consistent money, and then once you've gotten to that point where you've reached consistency, they move you to live so that it would be bad for their business model if you were to basically just continue to request payouts on the Sim accounts. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Is moving to live where they start taking some of your profits or something? Oh, no. They start taking your profits even when you're in Sim. The reason why people don't want to get moved to Sim, or at least why I didn't, is because when you get moved to a live account, you lose the ability to have 3 accounts. You just get moved down to 1, and then you kind of have to start over and like build up those accounts again. So that's mainly the reason why. 3 minutes short. Did we get the inverse? So yeah, we got the 3-minute inverse short there. I imagine it works to the low, but what's the problem with taking this short? It's not invalid, it's valid. Bias in time? Nope. That's not the problem. Bad risk reward. Thank you, Bottom G. Yeah, I was trying to point it out right in your face, right? It's just bad risk reward. Do we expect price to go lower than this 1 hour gap? Right? You're shorting into a 1 hour BISI. So would we expect a bullish reaction out of a 1 hour gap here? Probably, right? So based on that assumption, would it make sense to target lower than that? Probably not. So do I think it works to the low? Yes. Do I think it's a good trade? No, because it's bad risk reward and kind of goes against the overall higher time frame bias. So this is that scenario there where you have like a 50, or probably like a 55%, profitable trade. But if you're a 55% profitable trade, you probably need to be hitting like at least 1.2 R every trade, or not 1.2, like 0.9, I think. All right, and if our entry's here and our stop's here, this is 0.45. So this just doesn't meet, criteria for profitability. But yeah, now if we were to get like a 1 minute inverse back up here, we'll take this, right? If we come down, tap the low, come back up, perfect. That's our trade. The 2 minute, same. 3 minute is the best. We'll take the 3 if we get it. So yeah, this will be our first setup of the day if we get it. This will be the extremity of the range that we were looking for. It'll be a reaction to the 1 hour gap. So yeah, this will be our trade. And we'll just target high of day. So this will be the setup. 3R, pretty good. If during the morning you wouldn't have too much time to trade, expect for taking good entries at the right moment. Hernancho, I would set my alarm at the same time every day and just stick to a schedule, honestly. But if you're talking about like you're up for the day and you're like just setting alerts, yeah, just set your alerts if we're accumulating at the extremity of the range. So you're basically setting an alarm for the manipulation leg. Kind of like what we did right now. So when we're accumulating right now, you set an alert at the high and the low, and then that alert basically tells you, okay, we're starting our manipulation leg. Pay attention. But we didn't tap into the 1 hour. Yeah, we haven't tapped it yet, Marwin. But yeah, like I'm saying, if we hit the low and then get along, that will be our setup. Yeah, Hernancho, that's what I'm saying, right? If we're in the morning and we're in a range, then you set your alerts at the high and low of that range, right? Because essentially that range is just telling you that we're accumulating. If it just so happens that range also happens to be London high and London low, then great, yeah, set your stuff there. But it doesn't have to necessarily be at London high and low. Just, whatever the range is. So like this morning, let's look at it as an example. Okay. So if I was, trading this morning and I wanted to take a setup, where would I set my alerts? Let's say like at 9 o'clock I get on. Actually, today is a horrible example, but we'll still use it anyway. Maybe we'll do it based off 9:30. We'll do it before 9:30. If I was trading this morning and I wanted to get on at 9:30, where would I set my alerts? 21,776. Okay. And what else? Maybe this high. Yeah, like 610 high, right? If, just get me on the charts a little bit sooner before we run that high. So yeah, maybe that, right? But honestly, like you probably want to set it sooner because we might get a trade even before then. But yeah, I like that idea that Apov said, the low there and the high, right? Dude, can we hit the 1 hour? Yeah, for sure. Would Asia Low have been a bad alert even though we didn't end up sweeping it? I would have definitely set it at the low there, right? You want to set it at the obvious extreme. Not really like Asia Low. Like, you see how this low isn't that obvious compared to this one? Obvious swing points. Usually the swing points are V-shaped. Yeah, maybe Apov. Yeah, I mean, if you want to try and find ways to limit your screen time, it's definitely one way you can do it. Okay, so yeah, this sucks. I mean, we respected this last 1 minute gap here, right? So no liquidity sweep, but we have this idea of like order flow. I guess this is your liquidity sweep here. So if this is your liquidity sweep, this singular gap, good inverse. I mean, this is like a good... This is an okay eval play. The problem is you have a conflicting draw below. I like that it goes along with order flow. I like that it has good momentum. It's outside of, actually it's inside the time, so that's good. But basically we're missing draw, and this isn't really a very good model. So because you really want your liquidity sweep to be here. So this is a good eval play. It's an okay funded play. Like if you really wanted to take it, I'm not going to take it because while we're still within this range, I feel like we're accumulating, and so I don't want to take trades while we're accumulating. I want to take trades from the extremities after we've established a manipulation leg. So I'm going to sit out of this one, but I don't think it's like a bad play to take on like an eval. I think most likely what will happen is it'll be a break even trade, or like, you know, this 1 hour finally kicks in and ends up being a loss. But yeah, what sucks now about this inverse is we have to wait for now another gap to form because this gap has obviously been used. So, I mean, we wouldn't like wait for the low to get hit and then expect like, you know, the inverse to happen. So basically, yeah, now I think the day's cooked because this was our setup. Unless we form another gap, we're not going to get a trade. So, do you guys see why I jumped on early now? Because I wanted to... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, did you leave comments in the mentorship students?
Yeah. Yep.
Alright, thank you.
I'm a good employee, guys. A little bit, Vert. A little bit. But it's okay. There will always be tomorrow. Dude, I didn't even get break even to that. I took a loss. I got slipped so bad. That was horrible. Oh, by the way, I'd be break even on this 1 minute trade. So if you entered, I guess it'd be here. I don't know why that moved. You should be break even now. Reason why is this is a high kind of inside of a value gap. It's somewhat obvious. I mean, you could wait for this high, but I feel like that's a good enough place to go break even at. What's up, Trade Boy? Where would I TP at? 1-to-1 right now. You could theoretically TP at that first high, but there's not really any roadblocks in the way, so there's no reason why this should stop. We should just see this get hit. So I'd probably just wait to TP here and then try and TP at high a day. I'd do like 60%, 40%. Oh, wait. You're right, Vert. Trend line. My bad. Wait, but it hasn't tapped it yet, so we're still good, right? Or have we tapped it? Or have we broken through it? What is it? Where do I put the line? All right, EJ. Have a good one. All right, guys. Now that EJ is gone, we should get a trade now. Thanks, EJ. Appreciate it. EJ. Sounds good. EJ, if we get a trade after you leave, I'll give you a free month of premium. The trade, okay, some stipulations for that, EJ. The trade has to happen between now and 350. If we get the trade after 350, it doesn't count. But if we get a trade before 350, I'll do it. I'll honor it. Only reason why is because 350 I don't really love trading. But we got 20 minutes, so maybe it happens. It's got to be a short from the high here or a long from this low. And I'd prefer it be a long from this low at this point. All right, sounds good, EJ. I'll send you a text. How about that? Yeah. Volume is kind of low right now. I mean, we're just accumulating after the distribution phase. Did we take this long? I said it was a really good eval play. Oh, my bad. Okay, I can up the volume for today's. Whenever I listen back to it, it sounds fine to me, but maybe that's just me. Like right now, let's go back and let's look at the recent video I just did. Oh, by the way, this dude's kind of funny. Tweaking trades. I don't know what his model is. But yeah, here's IFEGs of the week. Yeah, that sounds fine to me. I don't know. Okay, Jujitsu. Wait, really, Vert? Nice. Okay. Nah, I don't know. I've heard complaints about the audio in the past too, and I thought I fixed it, but maybe not. I'll probably jump off, right at 350 if we don't really get anything. I have been on so far for 2 hours and 40 minutes, so I don't know. Doesn't really seem like we're gonna get anything, so no point in staying on for power hour, especially since we've already kind of taken out our targets. And the point of 350 is kind of to address any unfilled PD arrays or any targets. I guess 350 could be used to hit the hourly. So maybe if we get like 350 to take out the high, and then we get a short after that, maybe that'll be what 350 does. But if that doesn't happen in like the first couple minutes, then I probably won't stay on much longer. Yeah, I appreciate you, Death Candle. Sorry for the little miscommunication there. I think we're on the same page though. I think we got there. Yeah, for sure. For sure, for sure. Oh yeah, Cheddar. What was your question? Another day you let in one trader and he's talking about. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That was Stalker. He was talking about some data he'd looked at from Edgeful Stats or some website he uses. I don't remember. But basically, it was this idea that from 9:30 to 10:30, if we close above opening price within that first hourly range, that sets the tone for the rest of the day at a very high percentage of the time. So like if we open and price is, let's see, where's open today? So 9:30 open was here, okay? So if price closes above this point by 10:30, then it's going to be a bullish day. So here price closed above 9:30, so we know today's going to be bullish. So when we get a dip down like this below opening price, we know that this is a very good long because statistics say that for 77% of the time after we close above market open price 1 hour later, price is going to end the day bullish. Okay, so that's kind of how you can use it. I think that's what you're asking. Isn't that what it was? I don't exactly remember, but I think that was basically the gist. Yeah, I know profitable. That's what I'm thinking. 350 might do is we might hit the previous hourly low, the unfilled 1 hour, and then maybe we hit the previous hourly high. Yeah, what day was it? It might have been FOMC. It was FOMC. It was last Wednesday. So the this video, I'll just post it in here. Just the last video there in PM videos. During PM, no whale, but prior to PM, we jumped on at 12:50, and we caught a nice long setup that formed. Took it on eval, but was able to get a nice pass out of it, so that was cool. It was like a 5R trade. And then right now, this trade was just a break even, but yeah, not really anything. We were hoping to get a sweep of the low down here to take out previous hourly high, or vice versa, where we get a sweep of the high and can target the unfilled hourly gap, but it just didn't happen. We've just been accumulating because we distributed prior to PM. So if the 10:30 candle closes above the opening price, price will most likely close bullish on the day. Yeah, we will finish above 9:30 open, and vice versa. If the 10:30 candle closes below 9:30 open, then we will most likely finish the day below 9:30 open. Vert, I know, that's why I put money on it. Did you guys hear how there's a poly market bet that you can place that has a 3% payout? Where if you can basically bet on Jesus coming back this year. So if you place a bet on him coming back, you will win. I think it's like 30 times your money, and if you place it on the in the event that he doesn't come back this year, you'll make 3%. The logic behind it is if you place it on the he won't come back side, then if he does come back, then money doesn't matter at that point, right? Yeah, exactly, J-Hawk. Or you collect 3%. However, it's not really good value for your money because you can earn higher interest on high yield savings accounts, the stock market, etc. So if at any point that bet ends up beating high yield savings accounts, then it actually becomes an interesting proposition, because I would probably take on the side that he's not coming back this year, and then you just make, whatever, and it's guaranteed, right? And with a high yield savings account, you have that variable rate, so at least with this bet, it's guaranteed, which is cool. Well, basically guaranteed. I mean, I guess he could come back potentially. Although, I mean, if you place a bet on Jesus not coming back this year, I mean, that's not necessarily you don't believe, right? That just means you don't think he'll come back this year. So it's not like you're getting banished to hell. I mean, sin is sin, right? All sin is treated equal. I mean, in terms of the Bible, right? I don't know. But yeah, I want to find it now. Yeah, here it is. There you go. Oh, it's down to 2.8% now. But yeah, look, it peaked at like 3.5. Wait, no. It peaked at like 3.7, which is a pretty decent rate. Like, yeah, I can. Nah, JM. It's just because of the news recently. Well, I was keeping an eye on it, and then my phone was blowing up with the war news, so I checked the chart, and then I saw this V shape, and I was like, oh, okay, we're about to get a buy. So, I don't know. I don't know, Murmar. I don't know how you would validate that. That's the thing. I guess you would have to perform a biblical level event, and then that would probably confirm it, right? Like if we watched him turn like water into wine again, we might get the 1 hour tap here, but we're running into a trend line, Vert. There's the inverse to the downside there on the 2 minute. 3 minute hasn't closed. We got another 1 minute now. That wouldn't be very much like Jesus then, Ken. Unless he wins and then gives the money back to the people. I don't know. What would Jesus do? Need some walking around money? I guess so. Yeah. X's, wait. How does that not make sense? It makes sense. He's saying only God knows, not Jesus. God is Yahweh. So who prays to Jesus and not God? Cat? I don't know. I don't know. Guys, we really did it today. We really did some stuff in PM. We talked about religion and politics. Would you rather have unprofessionalism in AM or sophisticated talks in PM? I don't know. Oh, okay, Exis. Is that in your profile picture? Is that like a drawing of it? Or? Artist rendition? Nice, nice. That's funny. Yeah, Marlon, that was my thought too. Jimco Maximus? Cool, cool. For that trend line was so easy. Oh my goodness. I called that. All right. The only problem is we got the vert model here. We got the X marks the spot model right now. All right. All right. So once we get to here, we take a short, and then we take a long, and then we wait, and then we take a long. Right. Hey, what was with the dodgy glaze today? Why was he in here talking like, oh, Vert's going to be the next student? What was that about? How much you pay him, Vert? Thoughts on Tradeify and Take Profit? They're both good firms, profitable. Dude, I know you probably sent him over something. You paying the car payment this month? Vert, okay, okay. All right, we're getting into AM territory there. we gotta chill. All right, here's 350. All right, we broke the trend line. I think the X marks the spot was a little bad. We didn't quite get there. Dude, this is Tory Trades propaganda. How much does she pay you a month for it? $10K. Damn. Damn. Why 1:30? Because normally we don't get anything at 1. If we go back to like last Friday. Okay, so Friday is about the worst example I could have given. Bro. All right, yeah. PM session is gonna start from 1 o'clock from now on. Start like 12:50 macro. Nah, I don't know. I don't want to be on the charts for 3 hours. How about this? I'll keep an eye on stuff. If it's like another day like today where it's like obviously good price action, I'll jump on early. If it's not good PA, we'll wait till 1:30. Alert us though? Yeah, that was my bad today. I mean, today I was on for 3 hours. Damn. Alrighty, yeah. I'm with Vert. I'm gonna hop off here. We're not really getting anything right now. So, well, Murmur. The reason I didn't alert is because we had 150 people in here, so I was like, oh, everybody's in. But yeah, good point. Alrighty, I will catch all of you tomorrow. Hopefully we get something a little bit better, and we don't like distribute right before PM tomorrow. So, alrighty, I'll catch y'all then. Peace out, everyone.